Hello. Oh, we clapping?
Oh, for fuck's
Yeah, of course we're
sake.
clapping.
Aidan, we've clapped.
Oh, okay.
You're behind schedule, mate.
Sorry, I need to turn off my webcam on Discord because it's so laggy. It's throwing me off. Hang on. Right, now I can only see your beautiful faces.
Okay.
Hello, welcome back to Urgent Rewrite, episode, what is this, 15?
Yes, it's
15.
A generic
Episode 15. I'm back. I didn't watch the last episode. Let's have a great time.
Wow, you didn't watch
Yeah,
it back.
wow.
That's fucking rude.
So
I've
you
been
don't
busy.
know what was said about you.
I ran it through ChatGPT and I told it to pull out any mention of my name. There were none, so you get a pass this time.
I think if
just
you
know,
put
I'll
a
always
gun
be
to my
aware.
head,
I'll
I
always
wouldn't know what we said. I don't
It's
remember.
when he came
We
in,
was,
just randomly halfway through.
We said
was
some
quite
nice
good.
things
Oh, yeah,
about
that's-
Kikwan.
Yeah, it was meant to be the opposite. That was it. Yeah, sorry. I made a serious and continuous lapse in judgment.
Huh?
The builder took my Wi-Fi, and I decided it was best to, rather than let people know through my mobile telephone, which I actually couldn't, by the way, because I had no data.
How the
I
fuck did you
thought
get into the call then?
No, that was when the internet went back on.
Okay.
But then he was still drilling. Anyway, sorry for interrupting. I'm back now. Daddy's home. Don't
Welcome
worry.
back. Welcome back.
That-
you were sorely
That felt
missed.
weird coming out of my mouth.
Yeah.
You were sorely missed.
I know. I had so many Oscar takes to
Oh yeah, okay.
say,
but
but I'm sure Michelle said them all on my behalf.
I'll give you time to voice any things that you think we might have forgotten.
In 10 seconds.
Kiki Kwan, little darling, he gave Harrison Ford a hug, made me cry. Brendan
yeah.
Fraser, I would rag that man ungodly amounts. Jimmy Kimmel, can he just fuck off, please? He's the worst part about all of it. It was a pretty good Oscars. Right, that's it. Let's get on with the podcast, shall we?
Oh, well done. Brilliant.
Summed it up better than we did in
not
2
ramble.
hours.
I might start doing like 10-second podcasts, maybe put them out on like a platform where like you have to sort of scroll to watch them.
That's a very
feel like it could
that's
really
a
pop
great
off.
TikTok model. You can just keep scrolling
Yeah.
through just random 15-second podcasts.
I can't
You
wait
should-
to
What's
watch it in 6 months' time on Reels.
Yeah.
Mm.
You should like do it for multiple podcasts. Like one day you're doing Play Watch, then you're doing Critical Role. Like you've just got to break down a 4-hour
yeah.
D&D.
Speaking of D&D,
Ah,
you brought it up. You brought it up. That was on you, Zach. This is your
Who's
fault.
gonna do it?
Before we go to D&D quickly, this won't mean as much to some people, but in 2 days' time it will have been an exact year since we
Oh,
published
yeah.
the first Urgent Rewrite.
Wow.
Oh,
We've been
that's-
doing this shit a year.
We've been doing it a year. We've gained a person in about half of those episodes.
Yeah.
hello.
So in a year to
just
have
sort of-
half like a new person for half of them.
It's 1 year too many.
That's,
And we
that's
have-
a solid episode a month.
Yeah,
Yeah, that'll make
about just about.
We're ramping it up a bit now.
And we have done absolutely 0 rewrites.
That's so
What are we
true.
doing?
Yeah.
What are we doing? It's a
That's-
lie.
Was that part of the original plan?
No.
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no. This is meticulously scripted. Have you
Yeah.
been?
Well, I'm working on a complete rewrite of the Mario movie,
Oh,
so don't
okay.
worry.
Oh, joy. We'll get there, folks. We'll get there.
I get that. But let's
Let
talk
Dean-
about D&D first. Let's talk about D&D first.
D&D, Dungeons and Dragons, Honor Among Thieves.
Yeah, that film. What do you guys think?
Uh,
I
so
fucking
who
loved
here-
it.
I really enjoyed it.
It's good fun. It's good fun.
Good lot of fun.
Yeah.
Zach, did you watch it?
I haven't seen it.
I didn't think so.
I was busy.
I think you will enjoy it when you get around to seeing it.
I can't wait to watch this on a Saturday morning in 3 months' time while I'm having my cereal. Like, I'm sure that'll
Yeah.
be great.
It's a really good film. My parents enjoyed it, which for me is a good mark of like
Average
you know,
audience.
sort of a good family. Yeah, it's just
Actually,
wide net
I'll-
being cast.
I'll tell you the perfect time to watch this film. It's in 4 years' time on New Year's Day on Channel 5 with the family. That's the
Yeah.
perfect time.
Much
when
agreed.
It's
It'll be on
like
ITV2.
network
Well, Zach
debut.
eats the
It gives me
cereal.
ITV2 Christmas when they're rerunning Harry Potter vibes.
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
I can sort of imagine where all the different ad breaks are going to take place in the film.
Yeah. But as a
That sounds
film,
like I'm ragging on it. I really enjoyed
as
it.
a film, I actually fucking liked it.
Yeah.
I've watched it twice now because I watched it before it had come out because our cinema was partnered with charity that was showing it a week earlier. So I was like, okay, I'll go watch that. It was literally the end of my shift, and I went and
No,
watched
I
it.
think
Charity
I think you broke into Chris Pine's house.
Yeah.
I think that's how you did it.
I've also done that, but that's a separate issue.
His holiday home in Hawaii. That's what you were doing.
I had to know.
Have you seen,
Who was his
We're gonna-
DM?
Guardians
Guys,
Christmas
we're gonna
special?
get a Hawaii jar at some point. So every time it's mentioned,
Hawaii
we will
jar.
never need a Patreon.
I feel like at
We
some
just will
point,
have that.
at some point, we're gonna have to issue a public apologies to the great state of
Cease
Hawaii.
and desist. Yeah. Last thing I'll say on the matter of Michelle's trip to Hawaii. Have you seen, the Guardians holiday special where they break in to get Kevin Bacon?
Yeah.
I wanna see someone re-edit that so it's just Michelle chasing Chris Pine.
To be honest, I'd do the same thing.
Well,
Like,
two Michelles. Yeah.
I'll come along for
He's
the
a
ride, Michelle. Like,
Handsome man,
But-
beautiful man.
best Chris.
Beautiful
I'll,
blue
I'll come.
eyes.
I'll come with you.
No, it was a really good film. As me and Aidan do D&D actually, like as a campaign sort of
We do.
with a couple people. Wow, rude. So like going into it, like with the perspective that we have of like characters and people haven't played around with like world building and things like that in this sort of aspect, to go in and sort of see like, oh, that this is a 6-second timing in each combat, that each of these people like have these roles and that they're fulfilling, and you can tell what characters they've sort of built around and what like magic that sorcerer's using, what sort of it's really interesting the way that this character that this film has sort of managed to bring this world together in a way that I don't know, D&D itself is so interesting in a way that you can sort of have it be your own each and every time. So being able to see the way that they've done it and then going, oh, they have like an open ending, we could do more, or this entire world could be someone else's now and we could do another one and do something different with it. And I love the idea that this could be an anthology series sort of thing, because the world itself and the characters that you see in it are so just unique and interesting, and like having that aspect of coming from a player, like I can see my character in this world. I can see my characters like walking through these streets as well. I love that aspect of it. I feel ownership of this as well.
I mean, first of all, I think you've lost Zach.
Well, I lost that the
Sorry.
moment we started mentioning it, man.
Yeah, sorry. No,
I don't know. What have you got against D&D, Zach?
nothing. I'm basically one of those like religious fundamentalists. I just don't think we should be letting this near the children. Like, it's just not
It
okay.
is Satan.
To be fair, it has started me. I have hallucinations in my sleep now.
Like, you guys go
Otherwise
ahead.
known as
I'm,
dreams.
I'm just looking at some Sonic hentai. Like you guys go ahead. Like,
Okay, well, any good ones, drop them in the chat and I will also take a look. No, I agree with pretty much everything Mish said, because the campaign we've been playing, it's a homebrew one our friends set up. So as far as I believe the world that they had in the movie is based on some like the Wizard of the Coast modules. So because I know a lot of people were like pointing out like, oh, that's like we've been there and stuff. So it's like a map that you can actually find and play, and there's stuff around that. But yeah, like just all the, I guess the player characters, they just felt so fleshed out, and there were moments where you can see like, oh, you could imagine sort of being at a table and playing them.
Just like
I don't know if I'd want just like me for you. I'd like another film, not necessarily with that party, because I feel like their story's kind of done now. But if they like anthologized the world,
I'm pitching that as like an aspect of how this world is so like interesting to just explore in general. Like I don't think necessarily anything that this party has done is unique to this party, you could put any other set of characters and do something different with this world, and it's that interesting that you'd still have fun with it. And I love that idea that this world is so flexible, I love an anthology series based in it, sort of thing.
Because I love watching films where it's like you then see, like in the sequel, the same scene but from another perspective. And so keeping it vague, obviously, at the end when stuff's coming from the sky, it'd be fun to see that from someone else's perspective, and then you then follow them for the rest of the film. And even if they do kind of like interact with these,
like the opening of Batman v Superman.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because aren't they like all specific like player roles or something? Like I know like Chris Pine is the bard. Like couldn't you just like, I don't know, pulling a name out of a hat, like get fucking Josh Hartnett for a sequel and just say, oh yeah, he's the bard now, or like just carry on.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
just,
that's the thing.
Yeah, there can be multiple bards. There are bard schools. Like I think there's schools for every class, but yeah, you could have any other character and also show up and also be a bard, but a different. They do their magic in a different way, or just the entire personality.
They also didn't do most of the classes. Like we saw a red wizard, that's definitely in it, but like that's just a enemy. But in general, wizards exist in the world. We can have a wizard character as well. There's barbarians we didn't see. We never saw a fucking dragonborn.
I thought Holger was a barbarian.
She's rogue, isn't she?
Or is she a? I thought she was a fighter. I didn't think she was a rogue. I thought she was a barbarian or fighter. I know they put out actual character sheets.
Oh, I didn't see that.
I've not seen them.
I didn't see that.
Mish, I know you said that you thought that like these were very unique characters. Are they in the world of D&D? Because filmically it felt like, okay, we've got the archetypes. We've got like the renegade, kind of like Chris Pine, who he kind of plays in a lot of things where he comes up with the plans, and you got the comic relief, and you got like the silent character and the love interest and stuff. So is it in the context of D&D? These feel like quite unique.
Well, because this is the thing
characters.
with D&D is each character will feel more fleshed out than any other game that you'll play. Like you'll just because you are embodying this character, you get to play it however you want to do it. If something doesn't work out, like in our campaign. Just very recently, my character is afraid of spiders, and we just fought a legendary spider, and I had to run away because I just couldn't fight it, because that's what my character would do. That's just not even in an aspect of I would like to fight this because it would be a really cool fight, I know my character would run away. So in that aspect, seeing it's that bit where they're about to get their heads chopped off, and Holger is fighting them properly with like the brick and everything, and then it's just Chris Pine as the bard just fucking trying to break free the whole time, and it's like an aspect of his character where he's just not he's not strong enough to break it. It just isn't. That's just his character. So he's seeing it every single time. You just see him failing it, and it's the randomness of D&D is always going to make it feel more unique anyway. But that's a comic relief moment. But his character is consistent. It's consistently like that, even when he's with the bit of the dragon where they're falling down, and the paladin is sort of, and he comes down with a sword on the dragon's head. The fact that he's falling down that and everyone else has managed to make that jump, it just shows that he doesn't have that agility, that strength. He's not that powerful as a character, but he inspires the team. He's the leader. He's able to make up the plans. His character feels consistent.
I don't know why, but I presumed going into it, even like, cause I kind of like avoided a lot of the trailers and stuff. I presumed, it's going to be a bit Jumanji-esque, where it's like them playing the game and then the story of like inside the game. Do you think they strayed away from that because of how similar to Jumanji it would be, or like, because obviously I know they do it in like the Lego Movie, and it looks like they're going to be doing it in Barbie and stuff as well. Or do you think they were like, this is just the interesting part of the story, let's focus
I'd be interesting to hear also Aidan's perspective on that, but for me, I'm glad they didn't do it. Like, the thing with the Lego Movie, as much as they go out of the world, it is to tell tell the whole world story, to sort of go, this is like someone who's stuck up and does not understand what Lego actually is.
Finishes the arc as well.
Yeah. But with D&D, you could easily have done this as like a parody movie of nerds playing D&D, but we've seen that archetype. They wanted to do a faithful thing with it, and I think they did it really well because of it, not straying into what a tabletop of just seeing Matt Mercer just sat there like fucking talking, and then it's just Chris Pine around it. Like, I don't really care about this. I don't give a shit about the material. It's just a throwaway joke sort of thing. It wouldn't have worked. as well as what they did, where they actually took it seriously.
I think I said to you at one point, like when it was first announced, I think maybe before the first trailer came out, I was saying that, oh, I guarantee you they're gonna do like a fucking Lego movie thing, and it's gonna be like some big climactic battle, and it's gonna cut to the table, and it's like you see them like rolling for it, and be like, oh fuck yeah. And I was like, and I really wasn't keen for that, mainly because it's been done so many times before now with like Lego movie, and I cannot think of another example, but I swear it's been done other times.
Lego movie
and I just
2.
think because it yeah, Lego Batman movie, Lego Ninjago. There's a whole list, guys. And I think my main thing was just because there's such like a rich world of lore and everything to explore, and I think I'm really glad they didn't go for that angle, because it really could have, I feel, ruined the pacing and like just sort of the suspension of disbelief, because like by the end I feel like you're quite into it, you're like behind these characters, and if you were suddenly just sort of ripped out of it and reminded like these aren't real characters, these are characters people are playing, so at the end of the day it doesn't matter if they succeed or fail, because also like from a, I guess, metagaming standpoint, that like, oh, if this goes wrong they're just going to find another way to do it, or like the DM is kind of on their side, so something's going to go on and work out for them. So yeah, I think it's a lot better that they did take it seriously and did let you live in this world, because there's a lot to get invested in there.
It's weird because the film kind of reminded me a lot of like a bygone era of blockbuster, because it felt like a 90s film where it like the family film where it kind of follows a certain story tropes and stuff, but it like, yes, it is based off the IP of Dungeons and Dragons, but it kind of just did its own thing. Like it felt like the kind of thing where it I don't know, it just, they kind of let them do their thing
In an aspect though as well, I think, because there's that one bit where I'm just randomly picking up spoilers in this film that I hope Zach doesn't mind, but
I will forget, like
Okay.
out of context I will forget, I promise.
that's fine.
I'm gonna text you the spoilers every day.
There's a bit where they have to talk to like dead people. They bring them up to ask them 5 questions and go.
That came out as a like TV spot anyway.
Yeah,
so.
but that bit anyway, like the fact that they do the idea when they say it and the tiefling goes, 5, isn't that a bit arbitrary? And they just sort of all shrug it off. Like that is them nodding to the fact that, oh, it's a game and these rules sometimes just don't make sense, but you sort of have to follow them in some aspects, and sometimes you can just ignore them and carry on. And I think that's a good middle ground, the way that they went with it, but I think that still reminds you, oh yeah, no, they are playing, that this is the world of a game. This is like, there are set rules to some of these things, and some of this has to work out in a certain way. And I like that they played with it in that way.
Like that. Yeah, they just sort of nod to game mechanics. It's like are they mind flayers? No, not mind flayer. Like the little brain.
Oh yeah, the intelligence one. Yeah.
Underdark.
I like that.
And they set up like this whole like, oh, if you're too intelligent, they'll sense it and they'll come and devour you, and you'll be like a walking zombie. And then like they just walk straight past them.
Yeah.
Because like all their intelligence scores like too low,
way
so
too low.
they're fine.
How would you feel if, even if it doesn't go out into like a Lego movie type thing, if in the next one of the characters has like a dice, and so they've got like this dragon coming towards them, and they like use it, and they're like, and then I defeat the dragon, oh shit, no, and then they keep rolling it and trying to do a thing, so like they did the nod to it without coming out of it. Would that
It'd be too Deadpool-y.
too on the nose?
That's way too Deadpool-y.
I think there's a way to do it, because there are magical items there are magic dice in the game. I'm sure there could be one that does something. I think there's a way to do it, but also I think everyone knows that it's dice rolling, so it's one of those like where you don't have to do it, because it's probably like the most obvious sort of like nod to the audience they could manage. Oh, can you get me a Mario poster?
We don't have posters.
One of the bits.
Don't have
like the
posters?
giant Mario
yeah, I can
banners.
get you one of those.
Cheers. I'll take.
If Nintendo let us take them, I'll give them to you.
Mario, Luigi,
This is soliciting.
Bowser, Toad, Peach. I'll take Bowser.
Okay.
This clip's going to be played in court in 8 months' time.
Allegedly, I will allegedly take Bowser.
Anyway, on that.
Sustained. I want to hear what he has to say, Your Honor. This man.
That's quite well. Isn't that a good segue?
Yeah.
Mario movie.
So I haven't seen it.
Sorry, we'll be done with D&D.
Yeah, we can be done.
Jake, did you have anything to add? Okay, we'll move on. Mario movie.
Mario movie.
Mario movie. I didn't see it.
That's fair. If you've seen the trailer, you've seen it.
Fair. I was going to see it. I've just been really busy this week. But I have a few questions based on the few times I have gone in to go and screen check it. Most importantly being, does Chris Pratt even try?
Yes, actually.
Yeah.
However, I would say, I think he set the bar so goddamn low that I applaud him for lifting a pinky.
Okay.
Yeah.
The trailers, I think they use like all the worst takes, like the
Yeah.
Mushroom Kingdom.
Here
Here
we
we
go.
come. Not even in the
Yeah.
movie.
No.
And that is a fucking god awful take. And I've seen people on Twitter be like, "Oh, we need to apologize to Chris Pratt." It's like, no, we made a judgment based on what we presented, and what we were presented was some really shit voice acting. And just because he did an okay job in the film doesn't mean we owe him an apology. Fucking Jack Black fucking turned up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he killed it.
Fucking
Did you
That's part of
see his song Peaches is eligible for an Oscar for best
Yeah.
song?
Yeah. Never
And
gonna
it's
win
been
it, but
stuck in my head for weeks.
But would that mean that we get a live performance of it
I
at the next
hope so.
Oscars?
he'd
I hope
100% do
so,
it if they asked. 100%, he'd be there.
If
I
not,
want
he'd be
him
outside
with the
anyway.
budget.
Just do it.
Yeah.
I want him in like a full Bowser like fursuit.
Oh,
Yeah.
100% he would do that.
Did you not see him on Kelly
'Cause
Clarkson?
We've seen...
That was amazing. When he
Yeah,
turned
but
up in
I'm
that.
talking like proper.
Proper
I want some
Nintendo
pulp
licensed
to it, you know?
cosplay.
Yeah.
Like, I want him doing it inside a volcano as well. Like, I want him to actually.
Yeah, we know you've got the money, Nintendo.
I've got a heck of a lot to say. I wrote a list of like 50 points, but I've reduced it to just 10, just because I thought
Okay.
we have all the time in the world. First,
So me and Jake just get our gripes, and then you.
yeah, go ahead.
And then
go
we'll
ahead.
let you
Or
run.
yours, or-
Yeah, you let me run.
Yeah. Jake, do you want to go first?
I think it's a very good film to appease shareholders and owners of the IP.
Yeah.
Where it's a tight 99 minutes and it's very inoffensive. I feel like that's the film they set out to make, and that's the film they succeeded in making.
Yeah.
Where it will sustain your attention and interest throughout. You won't leave saying, "Oh, that was horrendous," but at the end of the day, it's selling you something, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in that, I think it doesn't do too bad. That's my cynical take.
That'll do.
I just think it kind of really played it safe. Which I guess it's an Illumination Mario movie. I don't know what I was expecting, but I feel like they were so scared of us getting bored that like we go to all these locations and we barely spend 10 minutes in them before they sort of yank us to the next place. But like, look, do you know this place again? And it's like I would have liked to spend a bit more time in like Donkey Kong's lands.
That is
I don't remember what that place is
what
called.
I sort of expected when I heard it was Illumination, though. Like they do like 50 jokes a minute. That's like their whole point.
Yeah.
The thing is, they've not made... Sorry, Despicable Me is probably like the only good film I would say they've made, yet they still profit, I think, every time.
Yeah.
So like,
It's because they're
I'm not
huge
surprised
in China.
Nintendo went to them, because they've got like, they've just figured out, you know, all the marketing and shit. Like, Minions are fucking everywhere. It's just frustrating, because I wish we could have seen the Mario movie that, you know, went to like another company, but I mean, this is the one we got. My only other main complaint is they have such iconic music, such an iconic score, and they've remastered it in such a brilliant way, and yet they throw in a fucking pop song every 5 minutes for no reason.
Don't throw the gauntlet down when Shrek 2's already beaten you to it.
Yeah, don't you ever play that song. Just
Every time I walk like down to screen check stuff, I'll just hear a random new song, and I'm like, what film are we showing?
It feels like they were like, we need some pop songs, so they just got the intern's TikTok out and they scrolled through the first like 10 videos and they picked the songs from each of those and put them in.
like, spoiler slightly, Michelle, like the film cuts to black on Mr. Blue Sky, and it was just like the most... I haven't groaned as physically loudly in my seat in a long time. Like, the people behind me could probably hear me.
the film felt so tailored to like the TikTok audience, where I felt like Mario was going to like lose at one point, and then the music go like, oh no, oh no, oh no, 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 no.
Yeah.
I was like, please
I'd have taken that.
On that though, and I'll play devil's advocate as someone who has not seen it. Is that not what most kids' films try to do now anyway? Like,
I'll get into that in a minute. I'm gonna disagree with that.
I do.
Sometimes yes, but
well, my point being is I think a lot of them now, the whole point is they want to just keep your attention, and when they're competing with what YouTube TV is, which is just sensory overload, just to keep a child from screaming. Like they sort of Illumination figured out that formula with Minions that they just have to put Minions on screen and then the kids will laugh. That's it. Yeah. So it won't. They didn't need to do a lot. They just needed to sort of throw in a bunch of jokes so that you don't have time to think. So I can see why they would go, oh, they're scrolling through TikTok, so why wouldn't we just put on the songs that they recognize, or like have moments that they can edit so that when they're scrolling on TikTok, they get reminded of the movie.
Yeah. To be honest, I'm surprised there wasn't a credit scene where Mario takes a mushroom and turns into a minion as just like a small gag. Like, I was very much expecting that to happen.
The minion in the Illumination logo was all I needed. I was like, I don't need any more of this, please.
I guarantee sequel he'll eat a minion mushroom in the Illumination thing.
Yeah.
I don't know if they will. Nintendo have a tight grip on their IP.
Yeah.
True.
Did you guys see the end credit scene?
Yes.
That's the one thing I have seen from the film.
I thought there was just a mid-credit
one.
No,
end
no,
one.
it's two. It's two.
Oh, what's the end one?
It's just Yoshi's egg, and then just cuts it just to hit Yoshi.
Oh, okay. I thought they were going to maybe set up for Galaxy or something, but
no.
Okay.
Which is the mid-credit scene?
It's Jack Black. He's in the
Peaches.
Peaches in the
Yeah.
small little thing.
It just, my brain smoothed over by the end.
So, I've got a lot to say, but first,
Go on.
the entire experience for me was a damning statement on the state of cinema etiquette with audiences, because kids were running around like crazy, people were on their phones. I shushed a woman and I got called rude for doing that, and it was just like, it was shocking to me how badly people were behaving.
Hang on. There's a lot to unpack here.
Okay.
How did you shush said woman?
Just went shh, just like that with that, and didn't say anything else.
Pretty standard for a cinema.
But it was just ridiculous. Like, just people were like talking like at full volume, and I mean, I don't care if the movie gets ruined for me, but for some other kid who's like, "Mummy, I couldn't hear it because they were talking." That's shit. That's really awful. Like,
I have also a point of I'd had that in D&D when I first watched it, which is the main reason I definitely wanted to watch it again, because there was a kid on his phone taking photos of himself, just taking selfies with flash on, so it would just flash along the whole of the back row.
Sea of phones when I was like watching it. Like,
oh, I was pissed. I got my fucking uniform back on to kick him out.
Good.
Yeah.
Well done. Hello, Mesh.
I was about to say, like,
Cinema
surely you could
police.
just text one of your co-workers, be like, fucking
I went.
row
I
H, seat 7, kick this little fucker out.
I went and got like one of my team leaders to come and do it, but they didn't
like...
do it anyway, so I just went and fucking kicked him out anyway.
See, there's so many times where I want to go and get someone, but I'm also like, but I'll miss them.
You're already missing the film, just go.
You know all the Batman and Spider-Man comics where they're looking down at their uniform and it's like the thunder and lightning outside. I just see Michelle with her cinema uniform, like, the time has come.
Oh dear.
Fucking rude little cunt.
But I think I loved it. I absolutely loved the film. It exists in the sort of state where it's like, I can admit it's trash, but I can still admit I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
At the same time, I still think kids deserve better movies. Like...
Yeah.
Even in close comparison, like Sonic and Detective Pikachu, at least they had like moments where they had something to say. In this film, there's no arc. Everyone ends and finishes exactly the same character. Like,
it feels a bit pointless.
It says nothing. Like, it's just, oh yeah, there's that thing you like.
Yeah.
And
Let's say there is Mario gets a minor arc of
he just
his
walked
dad
to a minor.
no longer hates him.
Like
Fucking
the
hell.
only real difference, Jake, for fuck's sake. The only difference at the end of that movie is that now Brooklyn slightly likes Mario and Luigi a little bit more. That's the only,
But they've left.
yeah.
So,
Not enough Chris Martinet.
Charles.
Fuck.
I'm gonna get to that.
was he Cranky Kong?
No, he wasn't Cranky.
Who was he?
He's
was
the
the
original
one at
voice
the
of Mario.
start.
He was Giuseppe.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
But we'll get to him. We'll get to him. But
Go on.
I think it was like brilliant in regards to how, like, if you were going for the references, every single era of Mario was there. Like, if you're a guy who like grew up in '64, that's there. If you are a kid who's just played 3D Land, that's there. Sunshine didn't get a lot, but I mean, it was there. If you were looking, there were things fucking everywhere for you to find, and I think like it didn't alienate. Like, I could be a guy in my 40s, I could be a guy like a little 10-year-old kid. There's a piece of Mario there for me. But at the same time, if you don't know Mario at all, you're gonna be fucking lost in that movie. Like, they take the time to explain none of it. It's just, oh yeah, Bowser, I have to go to the Kong Kingdom. It's like, what are these things? Like, it doesn't say a thing.
Yeah.
It just goes with, which is fine with me, but God help you if you don't even know what Mario is.
And it's like I only just finished like Mario Odyssey this week, and it's obviously such an amazing game that like does so much to like push game mechanics and stuff as far as they can go. And it's just a shame to see in one medium, obviously Mario being quite, obviously I know there are some games where you like play it safe, but in so many ways being such a pioneer of the whole art form, in then just have it being slightly just kind of disposable in the other, where it's like with the right kind of, I mean, obviously I guess it's the intentions of what they started out to make, but like I guess what I'm trying to say is it could have been done in a way where it could be up there with a lot of the other kids' films that are heralded as, okay, this is a classic kind of thing. It can really push it forward.
So this is the thing is, like, the way that you're describing it, the thing that I was hoping that they would at least try, and I don't know why I'd ever expect that they might, considering Nintendo don't ever want Mario to change. But the whole point of bringing it to film is to bring a story to it. Like, the whole point is to tell something new, and if they just didn't, then there's just no point. This could have been a game, right?
Like, you don't even have to like necessarily tell a story. Like, you can even service what hasn't been there in a long time. Like, Sonic does, like, oh yeah, here's stuff you haven't heard from Tails, or like Sonic in years, but they don't do anything here.
Sonic
like,
does tell
you
a
could have tried
story.
something similar.
It does tell a
But
story.
like, it didn't.
It's a road trip story.
Like, it's a story, but like at the same time, like, it didn't need to be much. Like, the same with this. Like, it could have done so little to like just say make you get on board with that, and they just didn't even try. Like, and it's like halfway through it as well. Like, it's half of it is such a love letter to Nintendo, where it's like, oh, you get this 100%. Like, there's fucking Game and Watch ads everywhere. Like, it's more of a love letter to Donkey Kong than it is a love letter to Mario. Like, Diddy and Dixie appeared, and I fucking hollered. Like, people were annoyed with me. I don't care. But at the same time, like,
Did
just,
anyone
like,
shush you?
I hope they did. I don't care. Like, but at the same time, it's like they miss things. It's like Luma's like a fucking like jokes about death and stuff, which is massively disrespectful to what they're meant to represent. Like, you've got Captain Toad in it, and then they don't even think, oh yeah, let's make him Captain Toad at the end. It's just like, that was on a silver plate. Like, why didn't you bother? I really hope Koji Kondo and Charles Martinet got huge checks for this, because they got done dirty. Like, they got really done dirty. Like, it's disgusting how they got treated for this movie. And I guess the only other thing is, I think Illumination will massively restructure after this movie. Like, I think Minions will still be their main thing, but I think after this, they will be making a heck ton of these afterwards. Like,
do you think it's going to be like a Mario cinematic universe?
There will not.
I don't think it'll be that. I think it will just be like,
no, but just sequels.
Every 2 years there'll be a new one. It's
So-
like the next one. The next one will have Wario in it.
What
and
was
it will
it?
make another $1 billion.
There's-
Like,
Nintendo are making the Legend of Zelda thing with Netflix. Matt Mercer just announced that he's going to be Ganondorf. So that's like, they know that they can make films out of what they've got.
yeah.
But I think they're going to try and spread that out and have an iron grip on whoever's doing it. So if Illumination are going to do it and restructure, it'll be Nintendo approved people who have taken over from Minions. which means Minions will have less people to make. And considering Minions 2 took them fucking how many years to just get out, I don't know how long that'll take.
Pushed back.
It was pushed back like 8 times though.
Yeah.
It was meant to come out like 20. I want to say 17.
Yeah.
I feel like that's when I first started seeing Lego sets for it.
And they just kept getting thrown back. So I don't know. If they are gonna do that, they've put a lot of into Sing as a franchise because they can make loads of money just off of the music alone. I don't know.
It's like just such a slam dunk for them because it doesn't take much for them to say like, right, here's the exact same package again in 2 years, except this time there's Wario and Yoshi in there as well, and they'll do it again, and it will continue to do gangbusters because there will be, like, I think this will be the next golden cow that we see like progress throughout the next 10 years, and we start to grow very sick of.
Who would you want to cast as Waluigi? I've got kind of a bit of an out there idea. I feel like Adam Driver would be amazing.
I can see Adam Driver, but I'm almost certain it's going to be Ryan Reynolds.
As Waluigi.
No,
it'll be Waluigi. I don't know who'll be Wario, but Waluigi, it'll be Ryan Reynolds, and it'll be jokes about him.
Yeah, it will be. Like they'll completely miss the point of that, and just sort of they'll drive it into the ground of why that's funny at all, and completely miss it.
Wario would have been a great Jack Black, but
I'm honestly shocked he wasn't the post-credit. I was like, I would have put money on him being in it, and he just wasn't.
Jack Black could do both.
He could.
For like Bowser's voice is distinct enough that...
I'd take it.
But I think they'll get someone else for it. They like another name attached to it. Like when they first announced it, it was just word soup of, oh, you like Chris Pratt? Oh, you like Jack Black? You like Seth Rogen?
He's so cool.
I'll say it with Chris Pratt though. Like it wasn't. I started to like him, but it was shocking how quickly I grew sort of tolerant of his voice.
Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah, it was a little bit just
by
like.
the end, I stopped noticing it was Chris Pratt, which is probably the biggest compliment I can give.
Yeah,
to
be honest,
acting.
like Charlie Day, he was like great. Kevin Michael Richardson as Kamek was great. Like Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong, I adored. I thought like that was great. But
I thought Anya Taylor-Joy was really good as well.
She was like nothing for me. Like I just kind of thought Peach was one of the worst pieces of it. Like Peach.
Really?
There was no arc for Peach. Like Peach was just, oh yeah, I'm brilliant throughout all of this. Like, and it's great that she is, but at the same time that she had nothing interesting to say or do. But, yeah, she does some of the coolest things, but
you don't think Charlie Day put effort? I mean, Charlie Day just plays Charlie Day every time he's played.
Yeah,
he's done any character. So
that was something as well. Like when you were watching like the that I think was kind of like cool of Nintendo when like they had the sequences like with when it was just Luigi and you had like the dry bones like bursting out of the ground and like the Shy Guys where he goes in as that like, lightning strike. It's like they had permission to make these things look a little bit kind of scary, and Nintendo never normally does that. And I was like, okay, there's some sort of potential. Like
that whole, I mean, I've got a YouTube Shorts that's hopefully going to come out today where it's like talking about Nintendo do the right thing, make a Luigi's Mansion movie, but it's like with their other IPs, obviously I know you said, Michelle, that Zelda's going to Netflix. What of their other things would you want to see different creatives doing? So like who would you want to see make a Metroid movie kind of thing? Like what kind of studio
this is the problem though, is that with Nintendo's iron grip on everything that they own, I don't know who I'd want to see to do anything, because no matter who does it, it'll be Nintendo. Like, Nintendo are going to have an idea on what they want to... a Luigi Mansion movie would be incredible, but it won't be scary.
No, it doesn't need to be. It just needs to be spooky.
If you get, like, the Halloween Town Disney Channel original film kind of vibes...
It'll get that. It might get that
fun.
It'll just be, Charlie Day going around making voices.
Exactly. That's all I need.
The only people, I think, who could have done Zelda properly, and they'll never ever do it, is Ghibli. Like, they would take it and they would get it exactly. They'd know precisely the vibe to tap into, but they'll never ever do it. Like,
if they're going to like properly do a Zelda thing, it depends what sort of Zelda they do. Like, there's so many ways to tell that story, and they've managed to prove that time and time again. I assume it'll be Breath of the Wild, but I would love to see other things.
They need to like
just
take
do
a very
Ocarina of Time,
Yeah. like Mario's very easy to like kind of do anything with, whereas Zelda, like you'll get more annoyances. They need to look at ones like Kid Icarus, Splatoon, ones where it's like we can do fucking anything with this and no one will care, and that's what they should be looking at, but they won't.
Like Splatoon would be the perfect Saturday morning kids cartoon.
Yeah, it would do amazingly.
Kind of thing.
Is it not already? I assume that would have already been made.
No, it's not. It's not got anything like that. Like there's the best you get is like the shorts online. That's about it.
Because that would be, it'd be perfect to be, even if it's like 2-3 seasons and they just run it forever, you know.
Like, do Kirby before you touch anything like Zelda. Like, Kirby's such a slam dunk. That's so easy for you to like mold into anything you need to or want to, like, and it will do amazingly.
Yeah, but I'd hate,
because if you want bright colors for the kids, that's bright colors for the kids, and that's.
I'd hate watching a Kirby movie. I think just overall, it'd be way too long of just silence.
If you did a thing of Kirby, wouldn't it just be the Pating from the Saranga Conundrum?
I'm upset with you now. You've bad-mouthed Kirby in a bad way, and I'm not happy.
Quite like a sequel to the original and superior Mario movie.
Oh yeah, no, I agree.
God, yeah.
The live-action one.
I love the Bob Hoskins quote, like, I used to play Hamlet.
You won't get John Leguizamo back because he's all like, oh yeah, the new one's racist.
Well,
like,
my final aspect on that is on like the whole idea of video game movies is considering you were saying about the voice actors, you hope they got a good check.
Yeah.
And then there's the idea of Borderlands is coming out and Jack Black is going to play Claptrap, and I have no doubt that he'll do really well. But Claptrap was played by a really great guy who got fucked over by the director of Gearbox, got replaced by someone who also did the same sort of voice, not as good, but still did the same sort of voice, and now it's going to be Jack Black. And it's like, at this point, there's only one character in it. I understand maybe the Mario movie needs to have other people. I'm not like annoyed that it's someone else, but like the voice actors would have been better, or at least an attempt of that voice would have been fine.
Yeah.
But why not in the Borderlands film make it the Claptrap voice? And then when you have other things, there's like other iconic voices that hopefully you would want to hear, and I don't know if you're gonna get them. What do you think is the future for video game movies? Because to me, is kind of bleak.
The sole reason they'll continue to do it, and the sole reason they will continue to put like a Jack Black or a Chris Pratt, is because there is still the 2% audience who won't even consider touching it unless if they see there's a name like, oh, I like Jack Black, I'll go and see it for that, and they will always put that above a beloved voice actor or someone who gets the character because they think there's a new chance for money. That will always matter more.
Also in that sense, and that's the reason I say Jack Black will probably do really well. But why wouldn't you get someone who was gonna try do the voice? You know, like Claptrap is such a peppy, high pitched voice. Yeah. Jack Black, like for his range,
he's actually quite depressed.
Can't do that. You know.
Yeah.
I think there's such a. I mean, especially when media then tries to be adult or for just like adult audiences, I feel like quite often they can then be scared of, be it the voice actors and, like you say, wanting like the name behind it of the actors, where it's like there's a reason why Avatar keeps saying we're not an animated film, we're not animated, even though it's got just as much live action elements as WALL-E, you know, like there's a reason why those kind of things are like, oh no, we're not a cartoon, we're this, we're like adult, and so I don't know, it is weird because on one hand, like, it's all about the art and everything, make it as good as possible, but people want a return on their investment. People want, people will go and see a Jack Black film kind of thing. In
my head, it's the same sort of divide that like movie stars and TV stars had like in the 90s and things, where it's like, a TV star is a very different beast to the movie star, and the movie star is big and important and huge, and you couldn't even think of reaching those heights if you were in Friends, you know? Like, it changes it's changed over time, but now it feels like if you're a voice actor in like games and stuff, like even Matt Mercer feels like sort of he should be doing way more than he is, or way more recognized than he is, you know? Keith David should be way more recognized than he is.
Yeah.
Oh, Keith David's amazing.
And he's just
But
you just recognize him from Halo.
It's weird as well because I forgot what I was going to say. I had a really good point, and it's literally just left my mind.
It's only ever going to change when the voice actors start like getting protected, like when things do start unionizing and things do become like it becomes equal footing, which we're just not there yet. Like time will progress and we will get there, but for now we've just got to endure the sad side. But
maybe now that we're getting, you know, like sort of A-list celebrities doing voice acting, do you think that could end up getting to a point where they start trying to help, you know, the voice actors get protected because maybe because I don't know if it would work the same, but you know, if they're getting paid the same way regular voice actors do, they might notice like, oh,
I think there's an aspect to that where they would, but in my head, the person that does that is Ben Schwartz when he's got asked to do Sonic, and he's like, I'm only Sonic in the movies.
yeah,
Like that's the only time I can see it happening.
Yeah, because he played Leonardo as well in the Rise of the TMNT show and
yeah, he did
film.
Yeah.
So he's got his fingers in a few voice acting pies.
He's the rare example of the A-list celebrity as well who can voice act. Like just go and watch What If, or like some of these people can't act or voice act. I mean,
What If? What you mean? Was it Oscar-nominated show What If, or was it
Emmy?
Emmy actually? So, yeah.
It's weird though, because like you were saying earlier, Michelle, with like you used to have the TV and the film actors. In regards to voice acting, it's weird because you do have that crossover where occasionally you'll stumble across an indie game like 12 Minutes that has Daisy Ridley, James McAvoy, and Willem Dafoe. If that was a cast of a film, that would be insane. And it's just kind of like I know 12 Minutes isn't exactly like the smallest game in the world, but it's not AAA. No. And so it's weird that you do sometimes get like the odd indie game that then has like a huge star where it's like Andy Serkis or whoever will be in it, or like the John Wick Hex kind of thing, having a lot of the original like cast there from the films. But yeah, it doesn't carry across where you might have a voice actor do some ADR lines where it's like or like in Detective Pikachu, it's a lot cheaper to get a Ryan Reynolds sound like for if they need to do any retakes. It's a lot cheaper to get that than like Ryan Reynolds himself back in the studio.
Exactly.
So it's weird. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a weird like little divide of like, how can they? Again, 12 Minutes probably was a day's worth of ADR, so that's probably why they managed to get them, because they could do that in between Star Wars, or they could do that in between Spider-Man, things like that.
Yeah.
But like, I don't see things like, you know, Detective Pikachu. When they do like the games and stuff, they're not gonna get Ryan Reynolds to voice it. You know.
Yeah.
They just wouldn't do it.
It's weird as well because I know like sometimes they do just want the name, but they kind of want to do the cheapest process to get that. Like I know Peter Cullen, like Big Boy Optimus Prime was like Bumblebee was a miserable experience because they had someone else in to do the performance, figure out okay, this is how we say this line, and then they just got him in at the end, just emulate exactly what he's done so he can fit it to the animation. It's like, so you're not inviting him into the creative process.
He's just there.
And so
just dance monkey dance. Like
but then obviously if they didn't have him as Optimus, there would be uproar. So they're like, okay, we still need him, but it's a lot cheaper to do it this way.
Yeah.
So it's just interesting seeing where different
but then that's also
different things.
I'm glad because that means it gives more people employed. They get more jobs out. They get more people in this industry, and it means maybe they become more stunt coordinated or stuff like that. But it's, I don't know. Again, it's just more voice acting wise. Like it just feels like a very two person system where they don't really know who's doing what at the moment, and I kind of, to me that sucks because I really think Claptrap's the one that really annoys me to no end. Like it just, that is such an iconic voice. Everyone knows Claptrap. Like if imagine they do a Portal film and they have someone else voice GLaDOS.
Yeah, they'll do it. They'll do it. It'll be someone else.
Valve are quite protective of their IP as well, so I don't know about that. But I think
it would be the worst casting as GLaDOS. Chris Pratt as GLaDOS.
Yes, Chris Pratt's GLaDOS.
Imagine.
Let's go.
They're just out of nowhere. It's Helen Mirren.
Yeah, that was in my head as
Portal movie
well.
next year. It's Helen Mirren.
I think she'd
reckon
probably
that
do
could
well.
actually
She'd do
work.
it well.
She'd do
yeah,
well,
it's
but
just-
she's just not GLaDOS.
But yeah, we're gonna wrap it up with
Yeah.
a cheeky question because now that some of us have
I
seen
should
Mario,
question as well.
I'll do mine then do yours. So, now that you've seen Mario, what would you say is like your favorite game adaptation? Like for me, it's still Sonic. Like 1 and 2, I think are fantastic. Like they're perfect for me. But
As someone
would
who
you guys
hasn't
say?
seen Mario, Tomb Raider.
yeah,
Which
The new
like
Tomb
the
Raider is really good.
Oh,
Tomb
I really liked it.
Oh, the new one.
Yeah,
Okay.
I enjoyed that. That had a lot of promise for where it could go.
And then they cancelled it.
My favorite. I've not seen the Sonic movies. I think I'd have to say Rampage, starring Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
Hell yeah,
Um,
hell yeah,
absolutely incredible.
beautiful.
The hierarchy of the video game universe has been restructured.
Oh, Dwayne.
What do you mean restructured? He's been doing Doom since 1999.
Yes. He's got another one.
Oh, yeah.
He's got another one up his sleeve. Apparently, he's doing
Oh,
another
God.
one. He hasn't said what it is yet.
Oh,
We'll
goddamn.
find out soon.
There's someone I work with that doesn't understand the difference between fan art and official art, and for like the past year, he's been saying Dwayne Johnson's going to be playing Kratos in the Prime series. I'm like,
No.
he's like,
Sure is,
I
mate.
saw
Sure
a
is.
picture of him with that, and then he's got the thing, and I was like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
okay, mate.
I
okay.
want to know how far he believes the fan art. Does he come in and he's like, did you know they're going to put like Bowser eating Mario in the next game? Like, he's going to canonically vor Mario.
Some of the stuff he comes out with. Yeah.
It's like, did you know Shadow's going to be in the next
must
one?
have
He's going to be really alt right.
I wonder if you've seen Bowser. I wonder what he thinks about that.
And I think
They've made Bowser woke now.
She's fucking emo.
we're going to avoid Bowser, otherwise we really will be here all day.
Oh, okay.
I'm
But
unfamiliar.
that's for next episode.
Yeah.
I'll tell you about it later. My question was, so you were saying about potentially Wario in the next film. So I don't know any of the Wario lore. I'm a bit of a Mario casual. Is there like lore to where Wario comes from? Is he from the human world as well? Because I have a pitch for how he arrives, and it's basically that he's like Mario's super fan from the future. He comes back in time to be best friends with Mario, but Mario's like, fuck off. And so then he's like, right, well, I'm going to become the reverse Mario, and I'm going to become your arch nemesis. And then he goes back in time and kills Mario's mum, and also jerks off Mario at super speed, so that he thinks he came at just Princess Peach's touch. And it was Wario all along.
I love that video.
Reverse syndrome.
I love that flash
Oh. Wahoo!